We're down here in Southern Maryland for the Haltech Import vs Domestic World Cup Finals. So why don't you come with me and I'll take you through the pits and show you some of the badass rides that are competing at this year's event. This is one of the biggest and most badass events on the drag racing calendar because it comes at the end of the year after the season is over for most of these cars. It pits the imports versus the domestics, the 4 cylinders versus the 8 cylinders. We've got the nitrous versus the turbo. It all comes together at this one event, a Clash of the Titans, where people go for records, where people just let their hair down and really try and get the best out of the best of their season for the whole year. Gash, General Manager of Haltech USA. Welcome to the Haltech tent.
Matt, welcome to the United States.
Thank you, thanks for having me. Clearly I can see you're very important around here. Tell me why you decided to get on board with this event.
You know, this is an awesome event. Jason and Chris Miller do a fantastic job. It's one of the most well-organized events that we run all year long. And the fan turnout is incredible for the number of fans they have and how fast they get through the classes, the track prep, parking, everything. They do a fantastic job. Not to mention, it's a really powerful event for us as far as our core market, both on the import side and the domestic. It's a no-brainer to us to be involved with this event.
Who's your pick for the event?
Man, as far as Outlaw Extreme, you got to look at the Raspberry Rocket, man. They got a powerful car. They've got the capability to win it. They made some good runs this year. They qualified near the top. It's hard to count them out.
It's hard to beat those domestics. I mean, they race every weekend. They're super consistent. They're keen on the tree.
Yep.
They come out the box hard. They get out in front. All they got to do is hang on.
Yep.
I don't know. I think I'm with Team Import. You can't withstand guys like Richard Rosado. We had El Versatil that won the event last year. He didn't have the quickest time in the park, but he was consistent. He went the rounds.
Yep.
So
Yep.
It's hard to beat just the pure mile an hour at the top of the track that those guys can
100%.
freight train at home.
Yep. It's definitely going to be a good show.
This being an import versus domestic meet, there's a lot of work that goes into pitting up the import cars versus the domestic cars to get the classes even. So the imports, you might be racing a front-wheel drive Honda that's got a lot of boost. So it's a small engine, but it's got a lot of boost versus a big cubic inch but naturally aspirated domestic rear-wheel drive. Another area where we can match things up is in tyre size. So you might have a small tyre domestic up against a big tyre import. So technically you should be able to get more traction out of that big tyre than you can the small. So that evens things out a little bit. That creates a lot of drama with the track prep. Do you prep the track for a big tyre or do you prep it for a small tyre? Because there's a difference. So one of the interesting things about the event is track prep. So we've got radial cars here, we've got big tyre cars, we've got front wheel drive, we've got all wheel drive. They all actually require slightly different track preparation, but obviously they're all pitted against each other in similar classes. So getting the track prep right is a challenge. This track is prepped somewhere between a small tyre and a big tyre, which means it's probably a little bit too sticky for the big tyre cars, but not quite sticky enough for the smaller tyre cars. Let's come take a look at the track and see just how sticky it is for this particular class. So this track is not all that sticky. It tears the heels of my shoes up a little bit, but doesn't pull them straight off. If this was a radial track, I'd have a hard time keeping these shoes on. So this event, it's somewhere in between. That's a real challenge that Jason has when preparing this track. He's getting it sticky enough for the small tyre cars, but not so sticky that the big tyre cars grab and shake and can't go down the track. this is a super clean car.
Thank you.
It's, if you saw this on the street, minus the giant bonnet rearrangement, you would almost think this could be a street car. Yeah, right?
It used to be a street car. I bought it brand new in '97, and it was a street car, and we just converted into this.
It has evolved a little bit since then.
A little bit, yeah.
Tell me a bit about the engine. What have we got going on?
Well, we got a 3.2 this year. We went with the billet block, and it's a 3.2, still a stock crank. We just machined it down.
Yep.
And 10.5 compression pistons, and we got 2 stages of nitrous. One, we got a fogger. We got a direct port fogger just to get on the trans brake. Direct port. We're going to see when we can kick it on. We try to kick it on like 2 seconds into the pass and then shut it off after 5 seconds.
Yep.
And not spray it all the way down. So we're still trying to get a little data on the car because we had some bad luck, this year trying to get it ready. Cam gear came apart and kind of messed up the head a little bit, so we had to pull that bag apart.
That's racing, isn't it?
It sure is, man. It
always a
doesn't
hustle.
stop. It doesn't stop, but.
Now you got, obviously, this is a giant big turbo. Tell me a bit about the turbo and how much boost are you running?
The turbo is actually, it's a 70, it looks bigger than it's a 7691. It's got a 139.
Oh, it's not actually that big.
It's 88, 94, that's big to me, but.
It's a street car
It's a street car, of course,
yeah,
street car. I still got a tag on it. It's expired, but it still has a tag on it. But it's a 7691. The most we can get out of it is 55 pounds. We can't get any more than 55 pounds out of it.
Just 55
Just 55,
pounds.
that's it.
Yeah, okay.
I'd like to see 65.
I'm not so sure how much the bottom end likes to see 65.
Yeah, I don't think it likes it too much.
And what kind of times do you run?
We went 740 last year at 186 miles an hour.
So 186 mile an hour. You got to be making a fair bit of.
I'm hoping this year the goal is definitely a 720.
Okay.
We changed over, so we're running methanol this year. Last year we were on VP import.
Okay.
So, and I think with a billet block, that's what you need. You want to keep it as cool as possible.
Yep.
So we're definitely making a little more power this year, and you can definitely feel it on that. We haven't really gotten to spray it yet. We've been on just boost going down the track. We've been trying to get the 60 foot figured out, which we got the laser ride height sensor from you guys, which is it's just a peace of mind to get in the car, let go of the trans brake, and say, okay, now I don't have to pedal it. It's gonna help you out. And we cut our best 60 foot yesterday, which was a 113.
So tell me about that just a little bit, because that's something that's interesting. Totally weird piece of technology. We've gone ahead and we've installed a laser ride height sensor somewhere in the front.
It sits right there on the front side.
Okay.
And as soon as we start picking up, it just.
So then you've set up a map in the ECU to, what are you doing? You're doing timing, boost?
We're doing timing and boost, and also we set up a map so you can go 2 inches, 4 inches, and we pretty much leveled out the tire, which Victor from Haltech helped us out.
Yep.
We raised the car up, had it level,
Yep.
and then we start measuring, but we got it up to go about 4 inches, where it'll pick up 4 inches, and it starts pulling down timing. So as it stards pulling down timing, I just leave it full throttle and just let the computer do its work.
So the reason you do that is so you don't have to pedal it mid-track.
And when you come down, you're not breaking a bunch of stuff. So it kind of lets the car down easy. It gradually comes down instead of, I don't care how good you are, you pedal a car, if it's up in the air, it's going to slam down on the ground.
So the theory is on the way back down, you don't pedal it at all with your foot.
Don't pedal at all.
You kind of allow the laser ride height sensor to knock the power out.
The Haltech takes over, does its thing, and
as it comes back down, it probably feathers the power back in.
It definitely feathers the power back in, and
that's sick.
Yeah.
You only need to look at the scoreboard to see how low the ETs at this event can get. We've already seen a bunch of 5-second passes, including an event record pass from the Htech team and back-to-back 5s from Dale Collins Jr. in the Raspberry Rocket. You guys done a few 5-second passes this weekend?
Yeah, we had a couple side-by-side runs. It's definitely exciting.
Is that normal for you guys? Now, last time we were here last year, you were running low 6s.
Yeah, 6.0s.
Yep.
We got more mile an hour this year than we had before.
So what changes have you made to go from 6.0s to 5.9s?
I think it's the tire and just good track surface.
Same motor package?
Same motor,
no
same
change
package,
there.
no change.
Different tyre?
I think it's in the back.
What are you running in the tyre then, in this event?
Mickey Thompson, the 315 radial.
So it's a radial?
Yeah.
590 on a radial.
592, yeah. 251.
That's awesome, man. Well, hey, good luck this week.
Thank you, appreciate it.
We'll see you soon.
All right.
After setting a new world record for both the 10.5 and radial class over a quarter mile, Dale progressed to the second round of eliminations where disaster struck. After actually winning the race, Dale's chute failed to deploy, causing a hair-raising crash at the end of the track. Luckily, Dale escaped unharmed, but the car ended the event with a serious damage to the front end. I'm here with Jimmy Doylan and his Yeti truck. Now, Jimmy, you've set some records this weekend.
We did.
Tell me how you've run.
Okay, we came here Wednesday in testing. Nikki did a few things to the Haltech to get us ready to run quarter. We went out and ran a personal best at that point of 698. 4 more passes from there, and we got down to a 672 at 208, which right now is our personal best.
Tell me about the truck, the engine. What are you running?
It's a Bennett 400 small block Ford. It's a TFS high port motor, so it's not. I'm gonna say this because it was said to us the other day. It's not a gangster motor. It's not a billet crank. It's nothing exotic. It's his ability to tune.
I'm saying 672
Yes.
is the gangster motor.
Yeah. Okay.
You're
yeah.
being
Okay.
humble there.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's a valid point. But it's nothing. It's no billet. No out.
Yeah, no billet crank.
It's pretty
no billet
standard.
Block,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
Dart iron eagle block, just a Cali's Magnum crank.
Yep.
Just set up right.
Correct.
Triple high port from Bennett. I think they actually originated from TEA.
Yes. Correct.
TEA
Correct.
high port.
Yep. And we.
Cast intake,
Yeah. And just real quick, just if I might,
Yeah, go
we
for
came
it.
to this event last year. The Haltech system it was installed right before.
That's
World
right. We
Cup.
actually literally put it on.
Yes, the day before.
The day before?
Yes, the
At
day
the track?
before. No, the day before we left, and it was
Yeah.
just finished that day. So we came here. Now, our best last year was 712
Yep.
at 191. Our best this year is 672. What changed this year, Nikki?
Oh well, first we sat down and we kind of just revamped everything as far as the fuel and the timing curves and stuff like that. Spent the whole day at my shop just going through setting up shift points and the launch control and trying to configure it better to where basically putting the turbos in a happier spot too during the run. We made a couple of test passes in the Warriors class. Jimmy was kind enough to let me drive 2 of the races because I was leading the points. We got some good data. We realized we weren't going to make the quarter mile, but we did set a personal best 4:43 at the 8th mile at the
Yellow
time.
Bullet.
At Yellow Bullet in
Yep.
like
Horrible weather.
3,000 feet DA, which was terrible.
Yep.
Then we wound up switching to the quarter mile gears, went out, ran pretty much the same numbers, but we realized we weren't going to make the quarter mile. So we had Greg Slack at Torque Converter Specialist, Converter Design Specialist.
He made a big
He made us
difference.
a converter pretty much overnight.
And that's it. Truthfully, it's Nikki
Yeah.
Notch, and the converter.
With over 300 heads-up races and more than 200 staff on property, this must be a logistical nightmare to put together and keep running like clockwork. To find out more about that, let's go and speak to event organiser and also track prep extraordinaire, Jason Miller. Jason, what does it take to organise an event of this size and this scale?
Well, we started the Haltech World Cup Finals 23 years ago, and it's kind of been an evolution, for the last 23 years. Our checkoff sheet for the event grows bigger and bigger every year to make sure we cross the T's and dot the I's. We basically, our playbook for the event, we start and we have things that we have to be doing January, February, March, et cetera, all the way up until the weeks of the event. And Miller Brother Productions, there's 4 on our team full-time, and work year-round in terms of promotion, logistics, and planning. And the team here at Maryland International Raceway, that's where it's been for the last 23 years and for the next 23 years, et cetera. And it's a lot of planning goes into it, and it's amazing to have it turn out this big at the event, but to have it where we can have a safe event, people can get in and out of the facility, and the logistics and it being an organized event, that's what means the most to my brother and I and the staff here at the racetrack, and that's why we take and put that much time and dedication into making sure it all goes to plan.
It's certainly a killer event. One question on track prep. How do you, I mean, obviously the man on the tools, you're out there, you're driving the tractor, you're laying down VHT, you're scraping the track. How do you prep a track for an event like this where you've got big tyres, small tyres, front wheel drive, all wheel drive, you've got the whole deal?
Well,
what's your mindset?
There's a strategy to the run order that you put in the schedule, and as far as the rules in each category, what tires they're running, et cetera, and kind of understanding what the different wheel speed needs are of each car, and putting those run order in place to accommodate what you're doing in track prep. And then obviously, we're trying to stop a tire in certain classes, slow the tire down in other classes, so it's constantly reading the racetrack and calling those audibles during the event to make sure that we give the cars in those classes what they need on the racetrack. So it's a lot of hustle, for it, and actually bring in 4 other track prep guys in addition to myself, and we work together as a team. Obviously I'm making the calls out there as far as what we're going to take and do, but it helps when I got other folks out there that know what they're doing. I make the final decisions on all the calls, but we got a team out there, and I tell you what, we're out there fist bumping each other with every record. I mean, it's just the energy we have within the staff at this event is very conducive to exactly what we have in the stands, and the fans there. So, me and my staff, we could do this the very next weekend again. I mean, the energy that we have is pretty wild.
Well, man, we are, as title sponsor, Haltech, of this event, we are super pumped to be part of it. We're really glad to be on board with you. We're proud of everything that you're doing. So we just want to say thank you, and we appreciate everything. Let's take a quick look through Camp Rosado. With a 4-cylinder Celica, X-Man, back from many years off the track. Last year's event winner, El Versatile, 6-cylinder 2J. And the big girl, Damon Chin's 5-second, fire-breathing 2JZ. With a string of low 6-second passes, Damon and his 2J Celica progressed all the way to the semi-finals, where he was knocked out by Michael Zaccardi in his 1970 Barracuda. Unlike Damon's Celica, Carlos Santiago's car runs a 4-cylinder 3S GTE engine. Carlos qualified with a 679, progressed to elimination round 2, where he got knocked out by the eventual class winner, Muhammad Ali. Jamie Rodriguez and the El Versatile 2J Corolla smashed out consistent low 6-second passes, culminating in the new PB, 6:17 at 230 miles an hour. I got Craig Walls here, and he's got his beautiful green Fox body Mustang. Now I saw this car ran a couple of 670 passes yesterday. What have we got in the engine bay?
We got a 427-inch small block Ford, built by Mark Benson Race Engines out of Delaware. Vortec XI supercharger, VP-M1 for fuel.
What kind of transmission are you running?
2-speed Rosler 400, Neil Chance converter.
Okay, and you're running obviously supercharger. How much boost are you putting through the engine?
It makes about 36 pounds, give or take, depending on the air. It's pretty good for the little Vortec blower.
All right, so running 30 odd pounds of boost. Is that a lot of boost in this style of an engine, or is that low boost?
I would say it's probably pretty good boost considering the 10 head bolts of the small block Ford. So.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, even not a lot of clamping force there to keep the heads down with a lot of boost. 670 last night.
Well, it's 687.
Sorry, 687.
687, yep. 100 and where'd we go? 194 was our last hit.
What's the best this car has ever done?
That's it.
That's it? So we run a personal best?
Yeah, personal best at a quarter. A couple of weeks ago at a Ford race here, we set a record for X275 record, and it's been a 434 to the 8th. 157 on that run. It's been 166 to the 8th.
You're running a Haltech Elite 2500?
2500. It started out as a 2500T, and then added an extra row of injectors, went to a 16 injector, so we did an add-a-ram box.
Okay.
And
How's that working out for you?
It's great. We love it.
Beautiful.
We love it, man. And control this thing so well and do things that we never really thought we could do before with some of the other engine management systems. So
That's cool.
we're really happy with it.
Obviously running personal best, so can't be too upset.
No.
Competing in the X275 versus hot rod class, Brian Devilbliss and his Devil's Reject GT500 Mustang blasted off an ET fitting its name for 666 at 210 miles an hour. That was enough to make him the top qualifier in the class. I've got Gabby from GRS. He's the man behind the camera on all of GRS's social media, website. Gabby, you cover just about every import event around the world. How many events do you go to each year?
Well, since I started the website in 2007, I basically, started to do the import coverage of the representation of the Puerto Rico cars when it come to, the States and, represent the island. So then after that, basically, I do all the major imports events in the world. Right now, we do all the events in Salinas, Puerto Rico, in Orlando. We come here in Maryland in the imports domestic event, and I basically, where the fast imports are, racing and competing against each other, we're there.
That's true. Nobody covers more import drag races than this guy. For people that don't follow you, where can they find you online?
I go to the website, grsmotorsport.com, also on Facebook and Instagram. It's in social media, you can find us there.
All right, I think I might know the answer to this question, but we're here at Import versus Domestic. Which team you on? Team Import? Team Domestic?
That's a very easy one, imports all the way.
All right. Let's back that down a little bit. You team Piston, team Rotor?
Rotor, all the way.
It's one of them. Likes the triangles. Tell us a bit about what we're running under the hood here.
It's a Ford mod motor, 5.4. Stock crank, stock heads, aluminum block, factory style intercooler, lower intake.
Yep. So tell me about the turbo setup. Obviously that's not factory.
Yeah, we got a 76 millimeter Bullseye NLX turbo.
Yep. How much boost are you running?
It's making up around 32 pounds of boost.
All right,
so in this weather today.
In this weather, we're going to make 30 odd pounds of boost. It's a reasonably big motor. What kind of power do you think we should be putting down?
I had it on the dyno a couple of years ago.
Yep.
Put 1150 down, but a couple other changes have been made. I'd say it's probably right around 1200.
About 1200 horsepower. And down the quarter mile, what kind of? Actually, not even quarter mile, because you normally run this 8th mile, right?
8th mile.
So what does it run in the 8th?
We did a best yesterday of 475 at 147.
But it did start its life as a street car.
Yeah, I bought it brand new.
Yep.
In 2003, I've owned it the entire time. Went 11s, 10s, 9s, 8s, and now we're in the 7s.
Just keeps coming down. So at import versus domestic, you're obviously running quarter mile, so you're backdooring it. What kind of times are you expecting to run in the quarter mile?
I would expect we get into the 740s.
Okay.
730s would be
awesome.
Icing on the cake.
Yeah. And have you made changes to the rear gear, or are you just throwing your standard setup?
It's been set up for quarter mile all year. I just haven't changed it.
You just truck out of the...
truck out.
Yeah, go for it.
Yep.
So what are you using the ECU for? You got an Elite 2500 on this guy?
Elite 2500T.
2500T, okay, so you got torque management upgrade in there. Obviously you're using a wheel speed sensor for that to do the torque management.
Correct.
What else are you running the ECU for?
The ECU runs everything.
Okay.
We got the coil packs.
Yep. Boost control. Turbo control, yeah. Are you shifting?
I'm not shifting, air shifter.
Yep, and the ECU is controlling that push?
ECU is controlling that. The motor's actually still using the factory Ford cam and crank sensors.
Okay, standard setup there, that's cool. What about the trans brake? You're running trans brake on this?
Trans brake and bump.
Bump box to get you in the line, and then you got obviously the ECU to the trans brake control, you got a race timer, you got got torque management, you've got boost control.
Yep.
Woo, that's a lot.
And it does it all perfectly.
Pretty much got one system that runs everything.
Runs everything. Plug it in, open up the laptop, everything's right there, one time, change it.
It's working out well.
Go for the next round.
In the Street Fighter class, Eric Jarvis and his Haltech-powered Honda S2000 progressed all the way to the quarterfinals, where they were defeated by another Haltech driver, Devin Schultz, in his Eagle Talon. Devin Schultz made it all the way to the semi-finals, where their winning streak was ended by Dominic Donato and his Cobra. So we're here in the pits with Team South Africa. You guys made, how far is it from South Africa to Maryland?
I don't know, but it's a long way.
A long way. How many hours?
18 hours in the plane.
All right, so you've put a couple of cars in the ship, you've sent them over here, you've turned up at MIR. Tell me about the differences between the track here in Maryland and what you're used to racing on back home.
Well, the track is completely different. We've got a bumpy track at home, so that's one thing. But our biggest problem was getting the initial turn on the wheel. It was quite difficult. Nothing like what we got at home.
Tell me a bit about that. What changes have you made now that you've got a lot more traction on the start line?
Well, we had to turn the wheel a bit slower initially. We haven't got to slip a clutch in this car, so we put a valve in. It works very nicely, and just get a little bit of slip. Turn the wheel a bit slowly at first, and then we can really hit it hard. Where at home, we can shock the tire, and it doesn't give us any problem.
Okay, so tell me a bit about the car then. It's a little bit unusual because it's not running a big V8 900 cubic inch nitrous setup. It's not even a 2JZ. What possesses you to put a 4AG into a drag car?
Well, Pete Jordan back home has been building these engines for years, and they work. So I think for our track back home, we wanted something a bit lighter. So we didn't have to have a heavy car and overpower the track. And it's a perfect little engine. It really is good.
So tell me a bit about what's been done to the engine itself. What's the capacity of it? Still?
Well, it's just shy of 1900 cc's. It's got a...
Still less than 2 litres.
Yes. Yeah, it's a 4AG, but with it's got a 7A bottom end in it.
All right, and what kind of boost are you turning in this thing?
Well, 4 bar is about our limit on the boost.
This is just 4 bar? Yeah. Okay. So, very small capacity engine. That's actually not a huge amount of boost considering the amount of boost that a lot of these cars are running. What kind of times have you run at home, and then how does that compare to here?
Well, our fastest time back home was a 774, and here we've gone 724.
So you've taken half a second off your previous personal best. That's massive, like light years in drag racing.
Yes.
How are you ever going to back that up when you get back to South Africa?
But I do think that when we get back, we'll run quicker than we did. We've learned a lot here.
So a 720 in a 4A, that's got to be one of the quickest and fastest in the world.
Yes, definitely the fastest 4A in the world.
Do you have any idea who else is running anything close to that with a 4A?
No, but I think we held the record at 770. So
right, so you're light years ahead now at 720. What are you hoping to get out of the weekend? I mean, are you happy with 720s, or are you going to try and break into the 10s?
Definitely, we want to go 710. We were hoping to go in the, like to break lows, like 710, but I don't think it's going to happen. So 710, we'll be very happy.
710 would be awesome. To make all that power and to get down track, you must be running a good ECU. What do you got in here?
We've got an Elite 1500 in.
That was a leading question. Of course you do. How do you find that? How do you find the 1500 for this application?
It's perfect. We don't have any serious traction issues with this car, so we didn't need anything too fancy on that side, and the 1500 takes care of everything we need. We've got it controlling our little clutch valve as well, so we let the clutch out fast until it bites, and then we switch the valve the circuit on. So we don't lose that little bit on the reaction time.
And are you using a timer for that, or are you just using an ECU to switch on when it gets to a certain position on the clutch?
Using clutch pedal position.
Okay.
And RPM.
Okay. That's pretty cool. That's really cool.
So I left the RPM in case the clutch slipped, and then we can switch it out. If it went too high.
Now, Ian, you've made the long journey over from South Africa. How are you finding America?
I love it. I love it. The people are awesome. I think that's the biggest part that we've seen is, we've had a few hiccups and everyone's just willing to help. It's just awesome. Last week we had a bit of a challenge with the weather, so we had to try and work around that, and then we were playing with the fuel mixtures and get a tune up in the car for the different altitude, and then we started having transmission problems. So we've been fighting that for the whole week, and eventually got that sorted out yesterday.
So normally transmission falls apart. Now you had problems with the converter, the thing's exploded, custom-made converter. Normally that just signals the end of your weekend, and yet we're about to go out again. So how did you get on top of that?
I think you just have a good attitude, right? You got to stay positive, because if you start getting yourself down, I mean, we've had every run, we've done 10 passes, and every one has been a dud. So to come this far and have so much bad luck, you have to keep on top of it. So we're just doing the same thing, fixing everything that needs to be fixed, and we try again. That's all we can do.
So you've been here for a couple of weeks, you've ironed out most of the issues, looking for a good hit today. Tell me about the engine and how much power you're making.
So we've got a 2J, just a straight 3-litre stock crank, nearly stock head. I mean, the head has got mild cams and very small stuff in it. We've got a power glide on the back of that, 2-speed power glide. So a lot of hopes and dreams lost in between the engine and the
transmission
and the rear end. But we built that setup for South Africa, because our track conditions are pretty bad. So we needed something soft to make sure that we don't keep turning the tyre. So it's not ideal for here, but it's in, so we're running it.
Now you did have a big stack a couple of months back. It's been a lot of effort to get the car back together, shipping container, and then here for this event.
Yep.
Tell me what that was like.
It's the busiest 11 weeks of my life, to be honest. We crashed the car. We were doing a shakedown to make sure the car was right for Maryland, and on the second pass it didn't go too well. They hit the barrier, pulled the front wheel off and pulled the chassis apart, and we just started the next day, and we just decided we're going to Maryland, so we've got to get this thing fixed.
That old South African attitude, just get it done.
Just get it done. And the whole country literally pulled together. So you can see on the roof of my car the people that helped me, we got it done in just under 12 weeks. Wow. Put the car in the container, no testing, and came here, right? We just started the thing up and made sure it ran.
Now we're here.
Now we're here.
One of the cool things about this event is seeing some seriously left field builds. Cletus McFarlane's Leroy used to be a Corvette, but now it can be best described as a monster engine nestled in a cage. This Honda Civic has been converted to a rear-wheel drive, and it's powered by a Haltech controlled H22 engine and a massive turbo. It's not a slow mover either, smashing out a 709 at 198 miles an hour in qualifying. I'm here with Mike Waller, and I've got to say, man, can you all find another paint shop? Because guys in your DSMs with your red paint jobs and your black doors, what's the story? Why red? Why everybody going red?
I don't know what to tell you, man. This was my factory car. It was factory red, I bought it in '99. And I've had the carbon doors for 12 years, so I can at least claim that I was definitely first in the color scheme.
Is this just one of those things that red cars go faster and DSMs need all the speed they can get?
I mean, I would have to say that's a fair statement.
Why don't we have more Hondas red then? Because they need
sexy.
it. Yeah, fair call. All right, so taking a look at the engine here, we've got a 4G63.
Yep.
What kind of capacity is this thing running?
Just regular 2-liter stock.
Not a stroker,
no
not
stroker.
board. Just
nope. Still one of the guys left with a cast block too.
All right, so no billet block, cast block.
Yep.
What kind of turbo are you running?
Force Performance 84 millimeter.
84 mil turbo. So that's I see. Good on the shirt there. What kind of power are you putting through this thing?
It's estimated roughly around 1,400 horsepower.
And you say estimated because putting 1,400 horsepower through four wheels on a dyno is not so easy.
Right. The most I've taken it to on the dyno is about 39 pounds, and it made about 1,000.
Okay. And down the track, what are you running then?
It's been 788 at 197.
And so how much boost down the track?
That was had a peak of about 72 pounds, and it kind of tapered off to like 70. Yeah.
All the boosts.
And that was on an 80 mil, so this is the 84 that's on here now.
All right.
And I haven't gotten all the screws to it yet, so.
What kind of transmission are you running to keep 70 something pounds of boost to the ground?
PPG dog box.
And is that working out for you?
It's working great.
All right, well, that's a good deal. That's a good deal. What about shafts? Do you keep shafts in it? Like, you got 4 wheels trying to make traction at the same time. You're putting 1,500 horsepower through them.
Yep.
Where's the weak point, apart from everything?
Transfer case has just been updated. That was the weak point. Okay. You know, it's got a drive shaft shop front axles, and it actually has a Ford 8.8 rear end with a 4-link on it. So that is definitely not the weak point.
All right.
I haven't broken a single thing in that rear end since I put it in.
That makes sense. I mean, having a Ford 8.8 solid setup in there, it's pretty bulletproof.
That's right.
Gonna have to go back to American Muscle to get that power down.
Yeah, that definitely worked.
Yeah,
that definitely worked.
Yeah. What else can you tell me about the car? Obviously, it's running a Haltech ECU. How's that working out for you?
Oh, I love the Haltech. And the first time I switched over to it, I was just playing with the software that we downloaded offline, and within like 2 weeks, I understood it better than I understood my previous software ECU that I've been using for 4 or 5 years.
That's awesome. We love to hear that. And what are you using the ECU to control? Obviously, it's running the fuel and the ignition.
Yes.
Anything else? Boost?
Fuel, ignition, boost, flat shift, you know, launch control. I mean, it controls
doing everything.
Everything.
All right, cool.
Air shift in the car with it and everything.
So you're gonna shift? Oh, really are doing everything.
Yes.
Okay.
I've got output expanders that are maxed out.
That's what I like to hear. Pushing the ECU to its limits. Mass Performance's 2J powered SC300 set a new PB, the world record for the fastest IRS Lexus SC chassis, with a 750 pass in the Street Fighter class. Competing in radial versus modified, Michael Newman ran a PB 681 at 193 miles an hour in his Haltech controlled Chevy Nova. This would have to be one of the biggest gatherings of front-wheel drive Hondas anywhere on the planet. What makes it great? This is up against the domestics, the Whooshka at the top end. James Kemp ran 215 miles an hour earlier. This is crazy! The Haltech Import vs Domestic World Cup Finals runs over 5 days, with the finals continuing well into the evening until the winners of all classes have been decided. It. The 2018 Haltech World Cup Finals, done and dusted for another year. What an awesome event. We had side-by-side 5-second passes. We had imports setting world records. We even had a truck going faster than jet trucks. Congratulations to all the class winners and everybody that competed at this event this year. For a full detail and a full wrap-up, go to importversusdomestic.com. I'm Matt from Haltech, and we'll see you next time.